And I get it. I really do. Tennessee's the better team, and they should win this game. But I'm getting a weird feeling about it. I mean, seriously, I'm asking you guys, what if Florida's clicking on all cylinders? Can they pull off this upset? I'm feeling an upset. Or am I? And that's a big question that we're going to get to the bottom of, or at least try to get to the bottom of at least, in today's Week 3 preview. I'm excited, man. I'm excited because we are only 2 days away from yet again another Saturday full of college football. And man, oh man, I hope all of you are relishing in these Saturdays as much as me. The feeling I get around this time of the year and Christmas, it's almost magical. It's starting to cool down outside, especially in the mornings. It's around 50, 60 degrees. To go on top of that, the leaves are starting to fall and we don't have to cut grass as much as we had to about a month or two ago. And don't even get me started on that. I'm already tired of cutting my grass. I can't wait till it dies off. And all in all, to make a long story short, I just love fall because the vibes I get from it is immaculate. More importantly though, around this time of the year when it starts to get cold outside and you start seeing people putting up their Halloween decorations, you know what that also means? Football is back. And it also means big time rival matchups are back, and we got one of those in Gainesville, Florida. I didn't think this would happen, but my opinion on this game compared to where it was before the season has completely changed. Just done a 180. Before the season started, I wouldn't give Florida a chance, but now it's a different story. And the main reason it's a different story isn't because of what Florida's done, it's because of what Tennessee's done. I don't think they look bad, but they haven't looked too impressive, at least in my humble opinion. Maybe I overhyped Tennessee. Maybe I gave them too much credit because remember, I had them in my preseason top 5. Maybe that was too high, and also maybe this offense can't replicate the same success they did last year. That's a real possibility because let's not forget Tennessee had one of, if not the best offenses in the nation last year. On the flip side of the ball for Florida, yeah, you didn't start out the season hot or the way you wanted to, but I like to imagine and believe you're going to be fired up for this big-time rival matchup, am I right? I'm just going to assume that Florida's going to play way better than they did against Utah. But hey, that's just me, and we'll get to that in just a second. The premise of this video is relatively simple. You know how we do our Thursdays. We preview all the big-time games and matchups. And we don't have a lot of big-time games because we're still not in conference play all quite just yet, but there's still some good ones to talk about. Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. As always, real quick though, I'm going to remind you we are on the road to 300,000 subscribers. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are now less than 8,000 subscribers away. If you like college football content and you're not subscribed, what are you doing with your life? Consider joining one of the best college football communities in the entire world. All right, man, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Woo! Hope all y'all are having a great Thursday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. We ain't got time to waste, baby. We're jumping straight into it, and you know how we do things. Do not act brand new around here. We started out with our 11 a.m. games first. And oh yeah, by the way, if you're looking for a Colorado State preview, not going to happen. We already talked about them last night. I'm sure most of you already know that, and you've probably seen that video. We previewed the Colorado State game already. So if you did come here for that, you can go watch the previous video. It's on the channel. Anyways, getting back on track here. At 11 a.m., you better not be snoozing on your Saturday morning because we got not just one, but multiple different good games. At 11 a.m., do not sleep on this game. We got the Penn State Nittany Lions versus Illinois. Illinois reminds me of that, if you ever played basketball, the guy who was like 5'8", 5'9", lockdown defender, menace to society, wearing the black Air Force Ones. The only reason the dude is on the basketball team is for defense, defense, and defense only. That's it. He don't even care about offense. His main goal in the basketball game is to shut you down and get on your nerves. He's going to foul you. He's going to pester you. He's going to talk trash, try to get in your head, do all that black Air Force energy. That's pretty much Illinois. Is Illinois as good as Penn State? No. Should they even beat Penn State? No, but they're going to pester them. And this game is at home. I expect Illinois to give Penn State a rough time at the beginning of the game, but Penn State just too talented. I love Drew Aller, their quarterback. They're going to come out of here with a win. Illinois is not as good as last year, and I think that's already been clear and evident. But with Penn State, we've seen them struggle in games like this before, so just keep your eyes on that one. Also at 11 a.m., we got an SEC matchup. What about this? We got LSU. Go Tigers. Shout out to Ed Ogeron and Mississippi State. And as to where it stands, LSU is a 9.5-point favorite. What about that? Mississippi State's coming off of that big-time win against Arizona in overtime, 31-24. Congrats on that win. I think we all know what we're going to get out of Mississippi State. They're always going to play hard. They're always going to play better than what they actually are. Mississippi State has a bunch of 3-star recruits that probably wanted to go to LSU, but LSU didn't want them, so they're Mississippi State. And the good thing about Mississippi State is they're always going to get the best out of their 3-star recruits. Their 3-star recruits are going to play like 4-star recruits. Whereas at other schools like LSU, maybe some days your 4-star recruits play like 2 or 3-star recruits. You see what I'm saying? So like I was saying, with Mississippi State, kind of know what we're going to get out of them. Hard-nosed bunch of guys. They got one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. A lot of people have forgot about, and he goes by the name of Will Rogers. But to me, at least, in this game, I don't think the storyline is Will Rogers or Mississippi State whatsoever. I think the storyline is LSU. Because with LSU, here's my thing. It's so hard to evaluate them off of the first 2 games. Sure, you beat Grambling State last week and you look good, but it's Grambling State. In week 1 against the Cinnamon Rolls, in the first half, you look like a top 10 team. But in the second half, you look like you shouldn't even be ranked inside the top 55. And I think some of those LSU players, they're embarrassed. And they're going to take out that anger and frustration on Mississippi State. Normally, I would expect this to be a close game, but I think these LSU players, they got something to prove. Don't see this being a close game whatsoever. LSU goes into Mississippi State's home stadium and just millie rocks them by 17 or 20 points. I really see LSU running away with this one. And hopefully they look as good as I thought they would before the season started. Moving on down here, our last 11 a.m. game that we're going to preview, and it's only a 3.5-point spread, is K-State and Mizzou. Missouri barely beat MTSU last week, 23-19. So yeah, that's kind of concerning. And K-State, I just think they got way too much firepower. I see K-State running away with this one. I'm not too sure why the spread is only 3.5 points. Maybe they know something I don't know. Maybe I'm ill-informed, but I think this is a cupcake for K-State almost. I see them walking into Missouri's home stadium and just completely destroying them by probably 24 points. I'm sorry, I just don't get the hype with this game. I think Kansas State is the better team, and it's not even close. Hopefully it's close for entertainment standpoint, but don't think it will be. But now finally, moving on to our 2:30 games. Here's where things start to heat up. We got the CBS game of the week. South Kakalaki and the Rattler. Spencer Rattler, by the way. And Georgia. This is a very interesting matchup. South Carolina has one of the worst offensive lines in the country, and normally the past couple of years when we think of Georgia and their defense, we think of their front seven just bull rushing and having great edge rushers and doing this and doing that, but this year, Georgia's front seven hasn't been too impressive. And another glaring thing that stood out to me in this game is Georgia is currently a whopping 27.5-point favorite. Wow. That is a lot of points considering South Carolina is not a bad team whatsoever. I mean, guys, we were talking about the same South Carolina team that beat Tennessee and Clemson last year. And you mean to tell me Georgia's a 27.5-point favorite? What's going on with that? I think that's way too high. I think Georgia should only be about a 19 or 20 point favorite. 27.5 is ridiculous. I am not a betting man, but if I were betting, I would definitely take South Carolina to cover that. But anyways, getting on track with the game here, what should we even expect? The one thing I'm looking for, obviously, is can South Carolina even give Spencer Rattler time to pass? Because we all know this, or we should know this. I think we've all came to this conclusion that Spencer Rattler is a good quarterback. And that's all he is, and that's all he ever will be. He's nothing more, nothing less. Is he a great quarterback? No. No, he's not. He's just good. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's good for South Carolina. That's the standard. If South Carolina could be good every year and go 9-3, 8-4, that fan base would be somewhat happy and pleased. And even if South Carolina lost this game by, let's say, only 10 points, I think the fans would be happy about that as well, but I could be wrong. Let me know in the comment section, Kakalaki fans. Let's also be real with ourselves here. Can South Carolina's defense stop Georgia? No. You're not going to stop Georgia. I don't care who's the quarterback. I don't care who's back there running the ball. You're not going to stop Georgia's offense. Georgia will score points in this game. The X factor is South Carolina's offensive line. And fortunately enough for South Carolina fans, and this is going to be music to your ears, Georgia's pass rush hasn't been too good this year. Now, that's not to say that they won't go out here and sack Spencer Rattler 12 times, because that could happen. But from what we've seen, and Kirby Smart has even stated this, they're not as good as they've been the past couple of years, on defense at least. And I do believe if you give Rattler a little bit of time, he can make some plays happen. Obviously, I'm not going to call an upset here. I think you'd be out of your mind to call an upset in this game. The game's at Georgia, 2:30 CBS game. Them boys are going to be ready to go. I'll give you my score, though, and I hope this gives you a better perspective. I'm going to say Georgia 31, South Carolina 10. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think South Carolina will be in the game. At halftime, I could easily see this score being something like 21-7. Something along those lines. But in the third and fourth quarter, Georgia's just going to be way too much. I know Shane Beamer has a lot of hype, but this Georgia team's just really good. They're number one for a reason. I'm going to take Georgia in that one, but I'm really excited to watch that game. And that's really it for our 2:30 games. Unfortunately, not too many other good matchups. We do have a weird time slot here, though. At 4 p.m., we got Washington, the Huskies, and Michigan State. I'm only going to talk about this for 10 seconds. Give me Washington. Michigan State's overrated. Yeah, that's all there is to it. I did want to bring it up, though, because I had a couple people tweeting at me saying, yo, Matt, you got to preview the Washington-Michigan State game. That's all there is to it. And now, finally, we get to move on to the main top of the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video. We got Florida and Tennessee. Woo! I'm ready for this one. Let's get into it. It is time to piss some people off. And I can't even believe I'm about to call this, but I think I am. Tennessee and Florida, they got the prime time slot at 6 p.m. And up until this point, Tennessee in the first couple of games, they've looked, at least to me, a little wishy-washy. And maybe that's due to the fact they don't want to show too much in the first couple of games, and that could be true. Maybe they want to hold all their tricks in the bag until they play Florida. That could be a case. And I want to state this right now. I would not be shocked if Tennessee goes in there and just completely destroys them and it's not even a close game. I could easily see Tennessee going into the swamp and winning 42-10. But, and I have a really big but, it's time for your boy Matt to hit you with some fun facts. Fun fact number 1. In the last 19 meetings, Florida has won 17 of them. How about that? And also, here's the biggest fun fact of them all. Tennessee hasn't won in Gainesville since 2003. Yep, you heard me correctly. I'm going to say it again. 2003. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is currently 2023. It's been 20 years. Now, does that mean anything in this game? I don't know. Let me know, Tennessee fans. Does it? Because Tennessee lost to Alabama, what was it, 15, 16, something straight times, and last year you broke that record. Maybe to some people it does matter, maybe to some people it doesn't. But here's what I will tell you. There's something about getting over the hump that is extremely hard. Because when you haven't won in Gainesville, Florida in 20-something years, it gets installed in these players' minds. They start to think, man, it's so hard to win here. Man, it's almost impossible to win here. And mentally, they beat themselves. And also, let's not forget to mention that Gainesville, Florida is a hostile environment. That place is going to be rocking on Saturday night. To me, at least, I expect this Tennessee team to walk into Gainesville, Florida thinking already they're going to win the game. Because let's be honest, most people have Tennessee win this game, and they should win this game. They got the better overall team. They got the better head coach, arguably the better quarterback, better everything. But, and I have a really big but, I'm feeling an upset. I don't know what it is. All throughout this week, I've been leaning towards Florida. Maybe it has something to do with Tennessee kind of struggling Austin Peay. I don't know. I got to roll with my gut feeling, and my gut's telling me to pick Florida in this game. Is that the smart decision? No, because on paper, we should pick Tennessee. But also, remember last week, on paper, Alabama should have beat Texas. It's college football, guys. This is what the sport's about. You can expect the unexpected. And that's what I'm going to try to do with this game. I'm going to expect the unexpected. I get this weird sense and belief that Graham Mertz is going to play pretty dang good in this game. And I will say, up until this point, he's impressed me all throughout the season. Look, I get it. I know he didn't look outstanding against Utah, but he wasn't the reason they lost that ball game. I expect Graham Mertz to go in here against Tennessee and play his A to A+ game. And that's what it's going to take. If Florida wants to beat Tennessee, they got to play their A- or A game. You got to be hitting on all cylinders because Tennessee's not just going to walk in here and lay over. And I expect Tennessee to play good. I'm not saying I expect Tennessee to be sluggish in this game. I just think Florida, they're going to play with a fire lit inside of them. It's hard to win there. And another reason I'm leaning towards Florida in this game is because Billy Napier, his job is on the line. He is coaching for his life. On the flip side of the ball for Josh Heupel, no, his job's not on the line. But for Billy Napier, you get the sense and belief that if Tennessee walks into Florida's home stadium and blows them out, he could be fired probably after that game. That probably won't happen. I'm over-exaggerating it, but you get the point. He'll definitely be on the hot seat. Because number one, it's not okay to lose to Tennessee. You've beat them 17 out of the last 19 matchups. And number two, it's most certainly not okay to get blown out by Tennessee. I just get this weird feeling and belief that Florida's going to be clicking on all cylinders on offense. I think Graham Mertz, he's going to play the game of his life. Billy Napier is going to coach the game of his life. And Florida comes out on top. I don't think you're going to see much defense being played because Florida's defense, not so good. And Tennessee's, well, we know they don't have a great defense. I'm going to say the final score of this game is Florida 38, Tennessee 31. I'm calling the upset. Give me the Gators. And I get it. I really do. Tennessee's the better team, and they should win this game. but I'm getting a weird feeling about it. I mean, seriously, I'm asking you guys, what if Florida's clicking on all cylinders? Can they pull off this upset? I most certainly think they can, but it's going to take a heck of a performance, and I'm banking on that. Give me the Gators in this one. They're going to shock the world on Saturday night. And guess what? That's it. That's all there is to it. That's all the games. I know, right? We didn't have a lot to talk about, but there wasn't many good matchups. I'm extremely curious. What do you think is going to happen in the Florida-Tennessee game? And I don't even think the X factor is Joe Milton. I think the X factor is Florida's offense, because I think Tennessee will put up points. But like with anything and everything in this life, I guess we'll have to wait and we'll have to see. Let me know your thoughts down below. But remember,